Hello, everyone, and welcome. I made it. Welcome to the Quest Show. I am Lana Quest, and I am your host, and I am here. I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, but I am here now. There's a lot of stuff to go over, but before I start, how is everyone out there? How are you guys doing? You tired? I know you're tired because I'm tired. How's the weather where you're at? I mean, I'm in New England and we had a whole nor'easter today. And it's so funny. I think I just learned a few years ago that a nor'easter isn't about snow because I always thought it was about snow. I don't know. And I live in New England, so I should know better. Nor'easter is about like the winds, how high the winds are, and not necessarily about the snow. So we did have a nor'easter today because it was very windy and very like sleet, slush, cold. It was just awful. I guess north of us got some snow. I believe New Hampshire got some snow, but thank God we didn't get the snow. We just got like the sleet. You could hear it and like the very high winds. But all is good and it's cold. I mean, it's in April. I have on a black turtleneck. Like, honestly, it's ridiculous. The other day, I got up in the morning and I'm like, should I put on my North Face or not? This is ridiculous because it's April. But this is where we are. And it's funny because next week, I think I saw that it's going to be in like the 60s. And a couple of weeks ago, like our March was very mild. And then we get to April and we're back down into the 30s. So, like, this climate change, it's all over the place. But anyway, I'm here. I'm going to try to make this quick. I am going to be talking about things that you probably have already talked about with people. You've already heard the news cycle, but because I wasn't here for 2 weeks, I'm just going to go over a few things. And like I said, I'm just trying to set up right now. I'm going to try to make it quick because nobody wants to hear me talk all night. I don't want to hear myself talk all night. So that's that. So first of all, again, I'm going to be talking about couple weeks ago too, because I haven't been on for so long. Mifepristone, right? I want to talk about that. If you don't know what that is the abortion pill, and the Supreme Court, either last week or the week before, heard arguments about it. Which is interesting because what's wrong with Mifepristone, right? We've been using it for freaking 2 decades, and now all of a sudden it's being, arguments are being heard at the Supreme Court, right? 5 million people. Now there's a problem with Mifepristone. Why is now a problem with Mifepristone? Because Republicans feel like, there's blood in the water. Republicans smell it because once the Supreme Court was like, all you states just do whatever you want with Roe. We don't care. You handle abortion the way you want to handle abortion. So anything connected to abortion and connected to reproductive care is now just all over the place. It's just a patchwork. Which is interesting, speaking about patchworks, right? Because remember, the Supreme Court heard the argument about whether Trump should be, I know I'm flipping back and forth, but just bear with me for a minute. Speaking of patchwork, because, they say we want the states to handle abortion bans. Whatever the states decide, the states could decide. We don't want to have, abortion as a national thing. Let the states figure it out, right? But now on the other side, when the Supreme Court heard the arguments for Donald Trump being on, the ballots, because certain states were like, hey, whoa, we don't want him on the ballot because these are the rules that he's broken and he's not supposed to be on the ballot according to these rules, right? So what does the Supreme Court do? They're like, listen, no, we're not going to say that he can't be on your ballot or can't be on your ballot, because if we say that, it's up to the states to decide, then we're going to have a patchwork of states trying to, make their own rules. He'll be on the ballot in Alabama. He won't be on the ballot in New York. So they didn't want that. So they're like, listen, he's on the ballot everywhere. But they don't want a patchwork when it comes to Trump. But when it comes to women's reproductive care, they were A-okay with this crazy patchwork of some states have abortion, some states don't have abortion, some have exceptions, which really are not exceptions. So let's be real with that. So that's where we're at. So now, because of this patchwork, now we have Mifepristone up to the plate. How do we even get here? Why are we hearing arguments on a drug that has been used for 20 years by 5 million people? Uneventful, no issues, right? Why? Because I guess it started back, because I had to figure it out too, right? I'm like, why is this going on? So back in August 2022, I guess some organization called the Alliance Incorporated, conservatives. It's just what they are. They're just a bunch of conservatives that make a name, and then they went to Amarillo, Texas to file this complaint, right? Why Amarillo, Texas? Because Amarillo, Texas had a hand-picked judge that Trump picked, right? One of the freaking crazy right MAGA extremists, Federalist judges. So they go to Amarillo, Texas, because if you file a complaint there, you will get this judge, right? So anyway, they got this judge, and then the judge had put this halt on the whole thing. And of course, it just goes to the Supreme Court because there's appeals and whatever. So it found its way to the Supreme Court. Who's at the head of this lawsuit and this charge that's going to the Supreme Court? It's a doctor who's not even really a doctor, who's actually saying that, if women are using Mifepristone, then if they have issues with this abortion pill, so they say they need to go, it's only a partial abortion, and then they need to go into the emergency room, they're saying now you're infringing on their rights, because if they're against abortion, doctors will have to try to figure out or decide if they're going to finish the abortion because it was only a partial abortion. It sounds crazy when I'm saying it, because it's actually that crazy and that convoluted. This is what they're saying. They're actually saying that if a woman takes this pill and there are complications and there's a partial abortion at home, then they end up in the emergency room. The emergency doctor, it may be against his religion or against his beliefs to perform an abortion. So, as everyone on the Supreme Court just about asked, because we already know, it doesn't seem like they're gonna put a ban on this drug just by the questions, because they basically said, so how were you harmed, right? They're asking, how is your client harmed? Why are we here? What is the harm to your client, right? Because one, the guy's not really a doctor. Is he speaking for all the other doctors? How is any doctor harmed? Because there are already federal protections in place that these doctors do not have to perform an abortion if it's against their beliefs. They're federally protected. Nothing happens to them. They don't have to do it. So why are we here once again? There's no reason. You're not injured. You already have relief, even if there's nothing. So this is just the Republican thing where, they just want it all. They just won't stop. And we already said that once the Supreme Court overturned Roe, we knew that Republicans just were not going to stop. So now Mifepristone has been attacked. You know, hopefully they will go about their merry business and leave Mifepristone alone. Because what are you going? You're not your judges. What are you saying? What are you saying, judges and attorneys, that you're saying that this drug is unsafe? The FDA says that it is. It's been around for 20 years. So all of a sudden now it's not a good drug? Like, stop playing with us right now. Stop gaslighting us. What side effects? Right. Tylenol has side effects. Motrin has side effects. Viagra has side effects. So if that's the case, then somebody can bring a case against Viagra, right? Saying it's dangerous. It causes like heart problems, or it could be a danger to people who are having heart problems. Like, that's how ridiculous this is. So hopefully they go on and do what they're supposed to do and leave Mifepristone the fuck alone. Gosh, women, it's just an all out attack. And as we're talking about Roe and the impacts of the Supreme Court overturning Roe. Now, another impact of it is the hospital in Alabama. Remember the hospital in Alabama that was going about its merry business and giving in vitro IVF treatment to the women of Alabama, right? I mean, it was just, everything was fine. Fine until what you say? Fine until a lawsuit. Apparently, someone who was going through treatment at the hospital, IVF treatment, lost their embryos, because this is the part that, it's really convoluted, and there's more issues that some patient in the hospital wandered around and accidentally got to where the embryos were and dropped them, and now the embryos are of no use. And I understand, I would be very upset about that too, like ridiculously upset, because there's a lot of planning and a lot of things that go into getting a woman's body right to have embryos implanted. Like, that's just not an easy process. It is a very long, arduous process, and for those to be destroyed like that is devastating. However, hey Michelle. Oh, hey Mary, how are you? But however, to sue, to say that, you know, these embryos are people, it's like that, because for them to sue, I forgot what it was called, but it's basically saying that, the hospital, it's not assault, but something like the embryos had to be treated like they were children for this lawsuit, in the way these people sued to go through. So then it's like, if that happens, now Alabama is saying, well, hey, embryos are persons. So they gave embryos personhood. So if embryos have personhood, now the hospital does not know how to deal with these embryos, because if you don't just fertilize, you just don't have two embryos that you're going to use, right? You have multiple embryos, just in case some are not going to be viable. They're testing, so you only put the ones that you know are going to be viable. That's the ones that you use. What do you do with the rest of the embryos? Can't throw them away, according to Alabama, because they're people. You just keep them. So that's why the hospital had to halt all IVF treatments, because it started to become complicated. And now they're in a lawsuit for destroying embryo children because someone dropped them. So it's like someone saying that they were their kids. Like, those are not kids. We keep saying this over and over again. You don't freeze children. You don't leave children without some type of care or daycare. You don't have children that you can't get benefits for. You have to feed children. Like, this is the crazy stuff that's going on. So on yesterday, the hospital is just stopping all IVF treatment as of the end of 2024. They're just not going to do it anymore. And it's too bad for the women of Alabama who wanted to have children who can't have children. So this is like the reverse action, right, of what Republicans want, because they say that they want life, but now they're causing women to not be able to create life. And that's all that their abortion bans have been doing. It's having the reverse effect. That's the crazy thing, because that's how you know it's not pro-life, it's pro-birth. They just want control. They just want to force women to do what they want to do. Like, we laugh at things and we laugh at like MAGA, make America great again, but that's literally what they want to do. Put it the way it used to be. That's not just their control of Black and brown people and Native people. Ladies, white ladies, y'all keep voting for these Republicans. They want to control you too, because I'm pretty sure you have IVF treatment because you can afford it more at a higher level than any other race. Now you can't have your IVF treatment. IVF treatment doesn't have a political lean. It's not just Democratic women that are getting IVF treatment. It's not just Republicans. It's women with no political affiliation, just women. And now women are not going to be able to have children. It's just, it's crazy. Yes, they want to decide over women's bodies, rights, and lives. Yeah, medieval time is for sure. That is exactly where they want to be. So what else happened? We talked about that. Oh, let's continue on abortion, because this is important. Florida. Well, good and bad news out of Florida. Bad news is 6-week abortion ban is in Florida, ladies. Florida, he told you. Ron DeSantis did it. He signed the bill in the middle of the night, but we knew he did it, and that's what you got right there in Florida, and that's dangerous too. But also in Florida, it's going to be on the ballot. So the abortion measure is going to be on the ballot November 2024. So if Ron DeSantis doesn't take all your rights of voting away, you'll be able to vote on the abortion measure in November 2024. Again, if you're able to vote, because who knows? I listened to what's his name? I think his name is Cornell Belcher, is that his name? Michelle, I think his name is Cornell. He's a pollster, and he was saying that Republicans win not by addition. They win by subtraction. They win by subtracting Democratic votes. They don't win by adding to their base or adding to their voters. They win when they subtract from us. That's how they win. And that's so well said, because that's exactly how it is. That's why they don't care about Black voters, brown voters. They don't care about that. They just want to stop everyone else from voting. Come on. So Florida, you have a chance in November 2024, because abortion is going to be on the ballot for you. You can make a good choice. This 6-week abortion ban, you have no abortion in Florida, because who knows at 6 weeks, ladies? Who knows that they are pregnant in 6 weeks? Who knows that? Unless you are like actively really trying, and you're just like, taking pregnancy tests like nonstop because you are really trying. But even then, your pregnancy test can still be negative, or you can have false positives. Like, there's so much there in 6 weeks. Like, huh? No one's even checking for that. Women are late with their periods. Like, you could be late 2 months. You could skip a month and not even know that you're pregnant, because that's normal for women to be late a couple of weeks. to be late 3 weeks. It happens. So 6 weeks, that's a ban. Florida does not, there's no abortions in Florida. They say that there's exceptions for rape and incest. So in those cases, you have to have like a police report. Then you have to have two doctors sign off on it. This is what happens when you have a bunch of men making these decisions because they don't understand and they don't care to understand. If you've been sexually assaulted or raped, you can't put a time on when you're going to be okay to tell anyone. There is no time limit on going to the police for a woman. That's why the statute of limitations has been expanded, because there's no time limit. You can't tell a woman she's got to do this all within a certain amount. Soon as you're sexually assaulted, go straight down to the police station. Yeah, it's easy to say it. No one's doing that. Especially depending on the age, depending on who it is. There's a lot of emotions with that. If a woman is raped, you think she's just right. Like, that doesn't happen with all women. Some women will, some women won't. Some women will struggle with that. Some women will hold it within. Imagine a child. The child may not tell its parents until it's too late. Look at the little girl in Mississippi, the 7th grader. She was raped outside of her home while playing. She didn't tell her parents. She didn't say anything. She just got quiet and withdrawn. There's no time on it. So if you don't tell quick enough, you just shit out a lot. You're going to have your rapist child. And then the rapist is going to have, custodial rights to the child. We expect you to love this child, even though it's the rapist baby. Like, yeah, again, it's the cruelty is the point. And it's just a bunch of white old men making these decisions because they just have no clue what they're talking about. And the people who suffer are going to be women and girls, because not going to suffer, because women and girls are suffering right now. Right now, women are dying. There's probably so many cases that we don't even hear about. We're hearing about a lot of cases, but there are cases we're not even hearing about. We don't even know what's going on. They're going to come out at some point, you know. Oh gosh, it's just it's really sad. That makes me really sad. Is there anything that makes me happy? So Democrats quietly flipped a key seat in the Alabama State Senate. So talk about Alabama. I mean, boo, they think embryos are babies, but at least the people of Alabama are listening. Some of them, right? Because Marilyn Lands was able to flip an Alabama state seat, a state house seat. That's pretty big. It's really big. And she ran on reproductive care. So kudos to Alabama. Like, kudos to Alabama. I mean, unfortunately, it is Alabama. But, we have to win them where we can. If there's a seat, we can't let that seat go uncontested. Not one seat. I mean, of course, Democrats aren't going to go into Alabama, put all these boots on the ground and pour a lot of money because it's redistricted and just gerrymandered, and it's not going to happen. But if we can quietly and stealth-like just continue to get the local seats, right? If Democrats can put themselves in these local seats, then things will start to change because it starts from locally out, right? So if you have a good local government, then you can start changing things so that, we can start seeing big changes in Alabama, but that is going to take many, many years. And for now, y'all stuck with Kay Ivey, the woman who like prayed that Roe would be overturned, and now the women in her state can't get IVF. Thank Kay Ivey. Thank you. Great job there. Let's see. So there's that. Did you guys know that Steve Miller is out here making ads? Mary, Michelle, y'all remember? Hey, Brian, y'all remember old Steve Miller, right? He out here making some ads. He's doing that mess quietly. He's out here gaslighting America to try to make America think that white people are being discriminated against. Like all racism is against white people. Like there was an ad. I saw an ad. If Brian will hurry up and teach me how to clip the videos and put them down there so I could play the ad for you. Appreciate it, Brian. There's an ad that's all about like the Biden administration hates white, literally hates white people, and they're doing everything possible to be racist against white people. And it had like white people dying in the hospital bed with like no insurance because the Biden administration doesn't want to give white people insurance. Like it was the craziest thing that I've ever seen in an ad. Like that kind of crazy. It's like with my mouth wide open, like, is this real? But that's a part of the plan. Again, it's make America great again. This is what they do. It's a part of the bigger plan. This is just let me tell you one thing about Republicans. They know how to make a plan. They will make this plan and then they will put all the pieces. You can see the pieces going into play, right? First piece, get rid of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Get rid of that. First plan. Well, actually, that wasn't the first plan. The first plan was the whitewash Black history. Second plan was to get Black history out of the schools, right? Because, oh boy, Black history, why are we having Black history? It's making white people uncomfortable. So get that out of the school. 2, get all the inclusivity books out of the school. No inclusion, no gay people, no Black people, no Native people. We don't want those kind of books. That was part of the plan. So that is gone. Hey, then we get rid of affirmative action, right? Because affirmative action, oh boy, you have affirmative action. What do you have? Oh, discrimination against the white people. That's what affirmative action does. So they got rid of affirmative action because, hey, white people don't have anything like that. What? Y'all had 400 years of stuff like that, and you still do because the legacy students are still there. That's still in place. Your parent gives a lot of money to that college, you go to that college, whatever your grades are. You go to that college. That ain't affirmative action. Well, what is that? That's affirmative action, but that's not the gaslight, right? Get rid of affirmative action. We don't want DEI in schools. They don't want DEI in the workplace. They've already told you that. Donald Trump has said if he becomes president, he is going to get rid of DEI federally, right? So that means that they do not want diverse workforces. No diverse military, no diverse police department, fire department, government, right? He's already said he is going to fire anyone that he can that is not loyal to himself, to him, right? Because this is what they're doing. So this is them saying, all of these things are actually anti-white, right? Because equity to them is oppression. They are so used to, and not the Republican lawmakers because they know better, but it's the Republican voters that feed into this nonsense. Those are the ones that are so accustomed to always being on top, always getting everything they want. So when something changes, or we want to offer it to someone else, then it's like, oh my God, I feel so oppressed. They're taking it away. Like it's insane for someone to say that they're being discriminated against or everyone's racist and anti-white when people of color cannot even go into a Walmart to get one, black hair care products, black dolls. Forget about Asians, because I never see an Asian doll. I don't hear them complaining much, but if I was Asian, I'd be out here complaining like a motherfucker. Like, where are my hair products? Where are my dolls? Where are my coloring books? Because we don't get it. You're fed what the default is, and the default is always white. So how is the world anti-white when you are already the default? That's the gaslight. So Stephen Miller has this whole ad that is just saying that Biden and his administration is racist against towards white people. Like, that's the thing, and that is part of their plan and part of their goal, because it's the white grievance, and that's how they keep their base, because their base is already, hell, there somebody else is taking all the jobs, someone else is doing all of this, someone else is getting the promotions, they don't deserve it, they're there because of from. That's like what they want to tell themselves to make themselves feel better, right? Katanji, she's DI, huh? She doesn't deserve it. She's more qualified than everyone on the Supreme Court. But her? Yeah. So that's what's going on there. Right, Bama Mama. Yes, Brian, I need some help with that. Yeah, anti-woke CRT app. Yep, that's exactly how they are. So next, Brian, I am trying with these notes. Something else good did happen too. So there's not always bad news. Enid, Oklahoma. Let's go on to Enid, Oklahoma. We don't talk about Oklahoma much unless we're talking about something bad coming out of Oklahoma, because it's Oklahoma. So what good is coming out of Oklahoma? However, Enid, Oklahoma, had some good things happen. So, due to the efforts of two best friends, Connie Vickers and Nancy Presnall, both Democrats, they were able to get Judd Blevins kicked out of the city council. Good, because apparently Judd Blevins was a city council member by day and a white supremacist by night. So much so that these two ladies, and these are ladies that are a little older, little older women. They've been best friends, I think they said, for like 40 years or something like that. They saw this man in a Unite the Right video or picture, and they were like, oh no, he's a white supremacist or he's a Nazi. So they got people in their town and told them, and then they formed like a small little group consisting of Democrats and Republicans, and they started their recall efforts by getting signatures and working together, and they got this guy Judd Blevins this week, I believe it was. They got him recalled and he's out of there. So that's some good coming out of Oklahoma. I mean, the person in his seat is still a Republican. I mean, but it is Enid, Oklahoma. That was going to happen. But at minimum, at least it's a normal Republican and not one that's running around with Nazis. So that's something that's good, at least. And at least they work together to do it. So the moral of the story is, yeah, if you work hard, You can make these things happen. They saw something and they weren't going to stop. Even if this man stayed in office, these two women were not going to stop until they got him out of office. And that's exactly how it should be. I wish it was like that with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I wish we could get her out of office because she's just a horrible, horrible person. But we'll work on it. I forgot who's running against her, but I oftentimes I will tweet about a candidate who's running against someone, and then someone will say like, "Oh, why are you wasting your time? They're not going to win anyway." But it's like, so do we not help them? Do we not donate to the people because we think that they can't beat Marjorie Taylor Greene? That's asinine and ridiculous. Like, you have to keep chipping away. We can't give up. Like, come on, man. Democracy it's not just Trump is taking it away. They all are. We don't want any of these crazies here. I mean, they are so crazy that their own are leaving in droves. Like, you got to be a jacked up party for your own, for Republicans that are like, whoa, this is even too much for me. And these are Republicans that have voted for Trump, right? These are Republicans that are like, okay with him saying Mexicans are rapists. They were okay with him saying shithole countries. Like, they were okay with all of that. I could shoot someone on like Fifth Ave or whatever he said. Like, they were okay with that. But what they're seeing coming out of the House of Representatives, they're like, oh, this is a bridge too far. So that's how you know shit must be crazy. That's how you know. If these Republicans that voted for that clown are now saying, oh, this is way too much, and they're leaving, it's crazy there. There's some crazy stuff going on. So we can't give any of them a pass. We have to try to get all of their seats, no matter what the long shot is. We have to keep on going and keep trying to chip away. There's a cute couple more things. Oh my God, great time. 8:40. I'm almost done. How am I almost finished? Let's see. Oh, so again, I haven't been on for 2 weeks, so I didn't talk about Rona McDaniel. I guess she was hired by NBC as a contributor, and then the next day she was gone from NBC as a contributor because what wasn't going to happen was the stars of MSNBC saying, oh, welcome to the team. That was not going to happen because what we did see was each one during every one of their spots were like, no, no, she was a part of the big lie. How can someone who is a part of a lie deliver news on our station? How can that happen? So from Morning Joe to Joy Reid to, Ari Melber, like just all of them. Yeah, they were like, this is a no-go. So she was gone, like within a week, she was gone. So that's that. Of course, Republicans cried foul. Like, why are you crying foul? Y'all got rid of her as your RNC chair. Like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Like, imagine that Republicans are upset because NBC said, never mind, we don't want you as a contributor. They're mad and crying foul when they blindsided her, got rid of her. I mean, she said she stepped down, but no, she didn't have a choice. They got rid of her and they brought in, Trump's people to handle the money. But they cry, they foul. Oh, you just don't want Republicans, which is untrue because Nicole Wallace was a whole Republican. Their analysts come on are Republicans. As a matter of fact, they have Republican guests come on the show. So stop your whining. That's ridiculous. No one owes you, Rona McDaniel, or whatever your name is, Romney. Trump was hit again, going back a couple of weeks. I know. Trump was hit with a partial gag order and the hush money case. And then this week, it was expanded. I mean, why bother? Why are we bothering with these gag orders? He's not going to stop. I guess so. The trial is starting. That is like speeding on like a locomotive, right? April 15th. So they, you know, right ahead of time, they said, listen, we're going to go on and do this gag order because we don't want you running your mouth about judge's family, the district attorney's family. We want them protected. What does he do? He just talks about the judge's daughter. It's like 77 tweets on Easter. Guess he wasn't in church with his Bible. 77 tweets this man did, or not tweets, sorry. Whatever they are on Truth Social, he had 77 of them joints on Easter talking about the judge's daughter. He talked about Michelle Obama, like just the nonsense. I'm not going to go through it. But now the gag order has been expanded. They're probably going to hit him with some fines if he keeps going. He is not going to go to jail. Brian and I talked about it on the Black and White show on Tuesday. I do not believe he will ever go to jail because logistically it's not going to make sense. And also these people don't like to do anything that seems like it would be politically motivated. So they're not going to ever put this man in jail. I mean, I don't know why they don't put him on house arrest. But then he can't do that, right? Because he's in campaigning. So, which you shouldn't do, because why is this man, we talked about this too on Tuesday, that he's about to get briefings. He's about to get top secret briefings because he's a candidate. Right? He's the guy that had top secret stuff in his bathroom. But he's about to get briefings. The government had to chase him for documents. Some that he probably has sold already, gotten rid of. But he's about to get more briefings. Don't you love America? If you're a rich white man, well, rich in I don't know. I mean, I guess he's rich compared to other people, but he's not as rich as he's been saying. But he really does get to do anything he wants to do. It's pretty amazing to watch this kind of stuff, man. So that happened. Oh, you know what I heard today too, which was quite interesting because Trump did come up with the bond. Has so many goddamn cases. Jesus Christ. He came up with a bond that had been reduced. What was it? $175 million. Some company in California came up with the bond for him, and he did that. I believe it was this week. I guess one of the shareholders or someone of this company is one of his friends. But I just heard breaking news that Letitia James and the district, the AG's office, they want more information about this company that put up the money for the bond, because they're saying if Trump loses his appeal, who's paying the money? Like, who's paying the rest of the money? Is this company able to? Because I guess when they investigated the company, or the company did an addendum, the cash on hand wasn't enough that would pay his full bond. Like, he didn't have enough. They don't have enough. They don't have enough money. So they need to know who this company is, if the bond has to be paid, the full bond, if they can pay it. So there's a problem there. So they need more information about who this company is and how much money they really have, because they don't trust it. Letitia doesn't trust it. She wants shit to get paid. She's not playing with Donald Trump right now. You can't just be like, yeah, we're putting up this money right here, and then if Trump loses on appeal, what's going to happen now? Where's all the money coming from? Who has it? So that's where Letitia is, and good for her. Yeah. Oh, you watch Rachel Maddow Mary? I'm reading the chat. Oh, what is her name? Rana or Rona? I don't know that woman's name. Rona McDaniel. Is it Rana? Rana or Rona? I don't care. Oh my gosh. So I did hear something that was quite interesting. In Sacramento, they've approved a guaranteed income program. I think I read about this a while ago that they were trying to do this, but apparently it just got approved. So that means that about 200 low income families are going to get supplemental money every single month, no strings attached. In order to qualify, I guess you have to go into a lottery. You have to meet certain criteria, but they will choose 200 families in Sacramento. They will be getting $725 a month over 12 months. Like, it doesn't go on forever. It's a state grant. And it's going to assist these families because California is very expensive. So people are probably like, oh my God, I could do with $725 a month. Like, all of us could. Right. And it's interesting because people would be like, oh, we're just giving people money, just giving people money. They need to work harder. They need to do this. And that's just not how that is. Because if you remember, we had a pandemic, because people act like they don't remember that we had a pandemic. They just, the memory is just gone, and that everything is just, we're just doing so bad right now. The economy is awful, everything's so expensive. And it's like, did y'all forget what happened in 2020? Did y'all forget that? Did y'all forget that you didn't have toilet tissue to wipe your asses? And that plumbing everywhere is being clogged because people are stuffing all kinds of paper towels and stuff down the toilet? Y'all don't remember that? There was no Lysol? Y'all don't remember that in 2020? Shelves were just empty? Y'all don't remember that once Biden became president, people were like, oh, we're going to go into a recession. The market's going to crash. Everything is just going to, it's going to go bad. It hasn't happened. There's no recession. There's inflation. Could be better. It's going down slowly, but it's only going to go down but so much because it's inflation. It happens, right? We just want our wages to grow with the inflation, and wages are up. Unemployment is down. There are jobs everywhere. You can find jobs. Like, you can. It may not be the job you want, but you can find jobs. So everyone forgets about that. But my point was, during that time, Democrats came up with the idea, let's do tax credits, right? Let's give everyone their tax credits early. Let's give it to them, every month, so that we keep people out of poverty. They'll have extra money, right? Remember that check Donald Trump had to put his name on when it wasn't even his idea nor Republicans' idea, because they never have the idea to help people. It's never their idea, but they always want to take credit for it. That's how that works, right? That's how that works. But during that time, because people got that extra money, and they got that money for food too, because it was like pandemic, whatever, those little EBT cards or whatever, so you could go buy your groceries. Those are the things that help people the most during the pandemic times. The people who were losing their jobs, at least they weren't losing their jobs, losing their minds, and being hungry, right? At least you can eat if you didn't have a job. At least you had extra money so that you could, put away or continue to pay your bills. Like, it was there. And that's just the same idea here. $725 a month for someone, of low income is like make or break, because you have to think it's not like going to be people who are just like, I'm just sitting at home, I'm not doing anything, give me the money. That's not how that works. You have the working poor. That's an actual thing. People are working poor. That means that maybe you're only making, say, $40,000 a year, right? Say you have a family. Say you are a single father. You have 3 kids. You're working full time. That means that you have to buy insurance. You're probably making too much money to qualify for, Mass Health, Obamacare, whatever your state gives you. So you get Cigna or Blue Cross Blue Shield. How much is that going to cost you? If you're making $40,000 a year, how much are we paying in insurance every year? $20,000 or something crazy? It's got to be. So that means that this man is netting nothing, next to nothing, because insurance is taking almost half of his money. Then you got $20,000. Then you got to try to figure out daycare for your kids. How do you afford that? This is the things that the working poor have to deal with. So if you help people like that who are working and who just need a little extra, and that $725 a month could put kids in daycare so that now he can go to work. The mother can go to work because now they can afford the daycare. Now they can work. Maybe they can take on a second job because they can afford to pay for childcare. That's what that does. It's not a handout, it's a hand up. You're trying to help people. And that's the problem with a lot of Republicans. They always look at, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I did it. No, you didn't. Have a 400-year head start. Oftentimes, someone has helped you. Why not help someone? Same thing with college tuition, the loan forgiveness. They don't want that. Oh my God. Why can't they pay their own loans? Like, yeah, I paid my school loans, but I want other people to not have to, especially the people in the service industry. If they've been paying their loans for 10 years and it's just like they're just paying the interest, man, come on. Why can't they be? These loans are all predatory anyway. They need to be forgiven and the slate needs to be wiped clean regardless. Like, people are so selfish, and that's exactly just where we are. Just mean, hateful, and selfish. And again, we talked about this too on Tuesday, Brian and I. It's like, people, you can't talk to Republicans anymore. It's nonsense. They don't want to talk about facts. They talk about craziness, conspiracy theories. Like, there's just no sense of it, and they're so like in their bubble. It's insane. You can't, and they think that we're the ones insane. How are we insane when they're giving money to someone with all of these felony counts? How am I insane? How am I insane when you are buying a $60 Bible from a guy who we watch hold a Bible upside down for a photo op? He used the Bible as a prop, but the prop was upside down. But I'm the crazy one. I'm the crazy one, but you're buying $400 gold lame shoes with a T on them. But I'm crazy? Like, how are y'all lining this up? How is anybody else crazy when y'all are really digging into this nonsense? Donald Trump slept with a porn star while his wife was pregnant. He doesn't deny it. However, You watch these people at his rallies, they got their hearts, they're praying, they're just praying to the orange God. It's just like they're calling him Jesus. Like this is Jesus. Whatever happened to false idols? Like, what is wrong with these people? It's like constantly recreating what religion is. Like, that's again, it's like they're like the master of gaslighting. They got these people hook, line, and sinker. I would just love to have an open mic, not for the MAGA cult to hear how Republicans really think about them, because it doesn't matter. They don't care. But I would want to hear the things that they say about them. Because I can only imagine how stupid they think that MAGAs are. That I know they're just like, they count the money. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe they still give to us. I can't believe this. Just tell them anything. Just tell them Martians, Nancy Pelosi's a Martian. They'll give us money. Watch. And they do. But then complain about the economy. But they're giving Trump money for gold shoes and friggin' $60 Bibles and whatever else. What is Trump sell? Let's take a look at what I wrote down everything that Trump has sold in his lifetime. Y'all want to hear before we close out? It is a war on intelligence, absolutely. Trump has sold water, mattresses. Would y'all want to sleep on a Trump mattress? Perfume, and he's actually selling perfume right now or cologne. One or the other. I think it's like $100. It's probably really toilet water. He has sold deodorant, pillows. Gotta get you some Trump pillows. He has sold eyeglasses. His family crest, remember that. Trump has sold coffee. There's been Trump coffee. Trump steak. I mean, that's what he has at Mar-a-Lago, right? Trump wine. He has sold energy products. Trump has sold shampoo. Trump has sold chocolate. Trump has sold gold shoes and the Bible. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Stop playing right now. Stop playing right now, MAGA. Y'all need to get out here and vote. This is an emergency. We cannot let somebody who has sold people all of that shit be president. That is absolutely ridiculous. And I didn't even mention the stuff that he probably sold the Saudis, but we don't know that for a fact. But I'm pretty sure that he did. But we really have to vote. We just do. We got to get our ground game in order. I think we're doing pretty well. I always close out with the same thing. Like, this is just one of the most important elections there is. And it is a freedom. It is a freedom election. It is all about freedom because freedoms are being taken away. It's so much that we often lose track of what's going on because there's so many freedoms. Like, we have stopped talking about book bans. That's how crazy it's been. We forgot about book bans. They have been banning books, right? There are some states that they are now teaching religion in the schools. Everyone's not religious. Like, where is this again? It's like they are trying to, like, Brian just said, it's a war on intelligence. Like, they really don't want your kids to learn facts, right? They want to feed them. And they keep saying that Democrats indoctrinate children. Whatever they say, that's actually what they are doing. They are now indoctrinating your children. You really need to be careful, especially in those states. You need to see what your teachers are teaching your kids. See their lesson plans. They're banning books so they can put Trump's Bible in your school. I bet Trump's Bible is in the library of a school in Alabama. Guarantee it. It's going to be there. Guarantee it. Shakespeare, probably not. Alice Walker, probably not. James Baldwin, absolutely not. That's where we are, right? We forgot about it. That's how much. PragerU. We forgot about PragerU. PragerU makes those beautiful videos, right, of whitewashed history. That's what a lot of schools are going to start to use, PragerU's video. PragerU says that, slavery wasn't that bad. Says per Frederick Douglass in PragerU's video. We can't forget these things. I know it's a lot, but it's happening. Got abortion bans. Clarence Thomas, don't forget, gay marriage. What y'all think? They're going to forget about you? Do you think that they're just not going to touch that? Right? Yeah, it's going to happen. At some point, there's going to be a case that is going to go all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court are going to have to decide whether restaurants have a right to refuse service to a homosexual couple. Think it's not going to happen? It's going to happen. Where y'all been? And it's going to be worse. It will be worse. It's so bad that if we give Trump 4 years, you know what he's going to do with the Supreme Court? Either he's going to get rid of them motherfuckers, or he's going to make the older ones retire, and then he's going to bring in more extreme ones and younger. That's what's going to happen. Like, this is why it's so important, because things are going to change. They are everything. You care about climate change? Oh, what? Regulations where? What? Forget about that. It's not going to happen. Some people are trying to bring back coal. They want coal mines. Stop playing right now. You enjoying some capped insulin? Are you enjoying that? Lower prescription cost? Biden's the only president that's been able to get negotiations with Big Pharma and lower some prescription costs, and still working on a lot more, but they won't take effect until later on. Yeah, y'all don't want lower prescription costs? What do you think is going to happen with Republicans? When have they ever said that? When have they ever talked about lowering your prescriptions? When? You know what they talk about? Taking your Social Security. They keep calling it an entitlement. You don't deserve it. Hell, they talking about making you work until you're like 70. You don't need that Social Security. Keep working. So they can play with the money and give tax cuts to the rich and keep the government running, right? That's how they're going to balance America's budget with our money, with our Social Security, with Medicaid, Medicare, all of it. That's what they want to do. Why do you not know this? Because they're saying it. Google. They're saying it. They're telling us, right? This is why this is so important. If Trump is president, Trump is not president for 1 year or 6 months. Trump is president for 4 years. The damage that he's done in the past 4 years is something that this administration is trying to fix now, which he's having a hard time because we don't have the House of Representatives. Marjorie Taylor Greene does. That is her house, right? Again, Ukraine is out here fighting, just fighting, needing help. They still don't have any help. because Republicans will convince Americans that America first. We out here there fighting everybody else's war. Are y'all crazy right now? Do you know what Ukraine is doing for us right now? They're keeping Putin at bay. Because if Putin takes Ukraine, there's no stopping Putin. That is why we're helping Ukraine. Because he will just go through this everyone. Whole alliance. That's why. And the other piece is that when we help Ukraine, that money comes to us. Because if we're building the weapons here that Ukraine needs, if we're building them here, that means here gets paid, right? Here gets paid. We get paid. Our factories, our workers are getting paid to make the weapons that are going to Ukraine. And Ukraine is the first in the line of defense to stopping Putin. It's not hard, folks. What do you think is going to happen with Trump? That's all, folks. It is 1:05. It is 5 minutes past my time. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, Brian, Michelle. Haven't seen you in so long, girl. Give me a call. Mary, give me a call too. Brian, I will talk to you next week. Everyone have a great weekend. Thank you for popping in, guys. I haven't been here in 2 weeks. I've been doing bad. I have to get better. I am taking vacation soon, so I'm happy about that. I think that's exactly what I need. I need some vacation. I also need sun, but we all need sun, don't we? Except for Brian. It's like 80 degrees there. We're freezing here, me and Michelle, but we ain't jealous at all, are we? Good night, guys. Bye.